happens if a parent kidnaps their own child? Well, my name is Akiva Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman & Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And today we're going to continue our video series designed to educate and inform the public, so please subscribe to our channel. You know, parental kidnapping has a specific definition, which is perhaps broader than what you might think. When you think about kidnapping, it conjures up images of somebody driving up, pulling up to a kid on the street, flying open the van door and throwing the kid in. And parental kidnapping is, I suppose, where, you know, there's a teenage boy walking down the street and dad drives by, opens up the door and says, "Hey, John, come on in." And boom, the kid runs in and they take off. I've seen cases like that. I've seen cases where there was a custody battle. We had this once. And the court awarded custody of the teenage boy to the mom. And dad and the kid had a plan that in the event that mom gets the custody, that the child will meet dad on a certain street corner. Dad will open up the door. The kid will run out of mom's car as she leaves the courthouse, run into dad's car, and take off. And they did that. They actually attempted to do that. And from a legal standpoint, all hell broke loose because the court ordered all sorts of sanctions, denied the father any opportunity to do that because they had hatched this plan. So the point is that parental kidnapping can occur like that. In most cases, though, it's kind of not what it is. In most cases, it's where the parent refuses to send the child back as scheduled, or sometimes the parents, we've had situations with parents literally lie to the children and say, "Oh, guess what? The court ordered that you get to spend 2 weeks with me in the summer when they only have 5 days." And they try to withhold the child from coming back, and they try to do this, or they go to some place where they're off the grid, so nobody knows where they are. That's parental kidnapping. Now, if that happens, you got to understand that the court has set up the system through the police that you have these Amber Alerts all the time. Maybe they come up on your phone and you think, "Oh my God, a child's been kidnapped at gunpoint by loving parents." You know what? Sometimes that Amber Alert is that. And sometimes it's a mom who won't send the kid back as scheduled, or it's a dad who's decided to lie to the kid and say you have more time than always. And you know what? Those Amber Alerts are. They're parental kidnappings that can trigger the Amber Alerts too. So if the other person does that, it's supposed to be time with you. Your child is supposed to be with you, and the other person takes the child away, withholds the child for one way or another, you need to contact your lawyer, and there should be Amber Alerts, and there should be motions filed, because you know what will happen. Law enforcement takes this very seriously. Law enforcement can be dispatched to get that child, and not only that, the court can hold people in contempt. That holding you in contempt could result in financial fines. It could result in make-up parenting time. It could result in people being put in jail for violating the court's orders. So the consequences are very serious. We've seen more and more of this parental kidnapping as we see more and more people thinking that what the judge says is a suggestion. It's something that we don't have to take seriously. It's just guidance. Well, I'm here to tell you folks, it's not guidance. The court's order means that you are obligated to comply upon penalty of contempt, which could mean jail. That's not a suggestion. That's not someone saying, "Oh, why don't you do this if you feel like it?" That's the court ordering that until further order of the court, a person has to do certain things. And if you don't do it, the consequences could be dire. So let's take this very seriously. If the court orders something that you don't like, you know what your remedy is? It's not non-compliance. Your remedy is to contact your lawyer and see whether or not it would be appropriate to file a motion to set that order aside, to file a motion to modify the order. Maybe the court has ordered certain things and you're okay with those things, but you want the timetable to be different. You want the timetable to be longer, to be shorter, to be quicker, to be slower. There's all sorts of opportunities for you to go back to court and be heard, but you don't have the option of simply violating the court's order, because if you do that, there's going to be a contempt hearing and you're going to have to explain why you chose to violate the court's order. Maybe you have an explanation. Maybe it has to do with the safety of the child. If that's the case, I'm sure the court will listen to what you have to say. Doesn't mean that you won't be punished for it. It doesn't mean that you won't be called to task for violating the court's order, but maybe there's some justification. In most of the cases that we see where some parent is violating the order, refusing to give the child over, refusing to comply with parenting time, it's not for any good reason other than control. It's that the court said this, but I don't care. And you know what? The moment the court gets the sense that that's what's going on, that's the moment when you start having to bring a toothbrush to court because you're going to end up in jail. And you don't want to end up there. So let's not do that. If we're in a situation of parental kidnapping, the lawyer should be involved. And if you think that maybe you did something and you're accused of parental kidnapping, we're going to have to make this right. So you got to contact your attorney and figure out what your options are so you can get before the court and show the court that you didn't mean to violate the order, and that there has to be an appropriate hearing to determine exactly what the motivations are and what the results should be. If you have any questions about that, reach out. We'll be glad to help you out.